Midnight, in the autumn of 1965, in a Yorkshire village cloaked in mist and old stone, a family of 4 walked into their cottage and vanished from the face of the earth.
No struggle.
No note, just an empty home and a silence so profound it echoed. This would have been another forgotten case, filed away with a shrug. But 3 months later, in a hidden room beneath their village church, police made a discovery that would tear the soul out of Ashworth. The Higgins family's belongings, and a journal, its final entry dated 2 weeks after they were last seen. For 60 years, the church has refused to speak. The cottage still stands, rotting, and the official story has been one of quiet mystery. Until now, because what investigators found in 1985, buried in sealed records, was a truth more monstrous than anyone imagined. The Higgins family was not the first. They were part of a pattern, a ritual, and tonight, based on documents never made public and the testimony of a witness who kept silent for 40 years, you will learn what really happened. This channel is for those who look into the shadows others ignore. If you have the nerve for that, subscribe now. Tell me where you're listening from, and prepare to step into Ashworth. 212 Ashworth was a place out of time. Nestled in the Dales, a cluster of maybe 300 souls, where family names echoed back centuries. It was a village of routine, of knowing your place. And at its heart, both physically and spiritually, stood St. Mary's Church. That autumn, the cold came early. A clinging, unnatural fog filled the valley each night. And the church bells, they began to sound wrong, deeper, as if the sound was rising from the ground, not the tower. For 44, into this picture stepped the Higgins family, the very portrait of village life. Thomas, the postmaster, steady and devout. His wife, Eleanor, with her intelligent eyes and a quiet passion for the old folklore. Their children, 12-year-old Margaret, serious beyond her years, and 8-year-old Billy, a boy who loved to draw. They were fixtures. Until October. Their neighbor, Mrs. Petton, saw Eleanor in the churchyard after dark, gathering herbs. Keeping the old observances, she'd whisper with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The shopkeeper sold her pounds of salt, dozens of white candles. The schoolteacher found Billy's drawings, the same one over and over, robed figures around an ancient altar. And Thomas was coming apart. Visits to the doctor, frantic whispers about ancient obligations, and a dread he couldn't name. He went to see Reverend Whitmore, the village vicar, for guidance. He didn't find comfort. He found a mandate. Whitmore spoke of spiritual duties that transcended choice, of traditions that protected the village. Thomas left feeling something worse than fear, a trapped certainty. The clock was ticking towards Halloween. The last sighting was Sunday afternoon. The family entered their cottage. By nightfall, the lights were out. But after midnight, Mrs. Petton woke to a sound that chilled her blood. Chanting. From the churchyard. She saw them through the fog. A procession of dark-robed figures, moving with a terrible purpose. She saw the small shapes among them. She heard children's voices in that unholy chorus. And then, they moved towards the church walls and vanished into the stone. Monday morning, the door was unlocked. The house was spotless. A Sunday dinner washed and put away. In Thomas's study, a Bible lay open to Revelation. In the margin, 2 messages. Eleanor's handwriting. The old covenant must be honored at all costs. And below, Thomas's desperate scrawl. God help us all. I fear we have gone too far to turn back. Sergeant Robert Henley, an outsider in this closed world, knew he was being lied to. The vicar called it academic research. The doctor cited confidentiality. The village closed ranks. But Henley had Billy's drawings. He had the strange dimensions of the church that didn't add up. And behind the altar he found the loose stones. The passage led down into the living rock. Into a chamber that smelled of cold earth, incense, and something metallic. A black altar stone, stained, candles, herbs, and there, arranged like sacred offerings, Eleanor's wedding ring, Thomas's pocket watch, Margaret's hair ribbon, Billy's toy soldier. Then the journals. Eleanor's first, tracing her journey from curious historian to fervent believer. Writings about the old faith, about a harvest ceremony that required a whole family. Her final entry pulsed with a terrifying certainty. She believed they were chosen. But beneath the flagstone, Henley found the older book. The ledger. Its pages spanned back to the 1920s. Names: the Morrisons, 1930. The Hartwells, 1933. The Spencers, 1936. Page after page of families vanished. Each entry detailed not a kidnapping, but a ceremony. A spiritual elevation. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a tradition, a covenant. The journal laid bare the method. The Ashworth Historical Preservation Society was the lure. It began with genuine history, fascinating lectures. It groomed the isolated, the spiritually curious. Slowly, gently, it introduced practical rituals. It used isolation, suggestion, the powerful atmosphere of that hidden chamber. It made the unbelievable feel like enlightenment. By the time a family was led down those steps on the chosen night, they were not prisoners. They were converts. Eleanor had been meticulously prepared over 18 months. Thomas was the one they had to work around. His resistance was anticipated, planned for. The final account was clinical. The ceremony on October 31st. The spiritual substances in the wine. Thomas's attempt to leave, blocked by the other respected pillars of the village. The doctor, the librarian, the herbalist. The children confused and drugged. And then, the elevation. The bodies were disposed of in caves beneath the church. The cover-up was immediate and total. False medical records, rumors of a sudden move abroad, the cottage relet within a week. Henley, armed with the ledger, made his arrests. The doctor broke first, confessing to a grand, shared delusion. That they weren't killing, but transcending. The librarian clung to her story of academic study, until he found victims' belongings in her home. Reverend Whitmore was found in his study, surrounded by burning papers, muttering about divine commands. The brilliant mind that had engineered this was gone, lost in its own dark theology. The trial at York Crown Court exposed it all. The recovery of 63 sets of remains from the caves, the sheer, numbing scale of it, 17 families over 35 years. The community's complicity, woven from fear, greed for the victim's property, and a twisted pride in their secret protection. The village of Ashworth did not survive the truth. The church was demolished, the chamber sealed with concrete. But you cannot bury a stain like that. People moved away. Windows darkened. Ashworth became a ghost town. A cautionary tale etched into the Yorkshire landscape. So what is the mystery of the Higgins family? It is not a whodunit. We know who. It is the how. How does evil not only enter a quiet place, but put down roots and call itself tradition? How do ordinary people, a doctor, a librarian, a vicar, convince themselves that murder is a sacrament? The horror of Ashworth is not the monster in the dark. It's the monster in the pulpit. The monster wearing a friendly face over the garden fence. It's the slow, patient corruption of good people by a beautiful, poisonous idea. It's the realization that the true darkness doesn't hide in the shadows. It stands in the light, offering you a candle and asking for your trust. What do you think? Could the weight of tradition and the voice of authority silence your own conscience? Share your thoughts below. If you dare to confront more stories that were meant to stay hidden, subscribe, hit the bell, and remember, the most perfect disguise for evil has always been a respectable face.